And I would say that this game, after being down 0-1, when 0-3 will eliminate you from LCS lock-in, is time to perform. Yeah. So the pressure is on, and Team Liquid, from what we've heard, has been scrim demons. They've beaten everyone. If it was a scrim LCS, they would be first place.
The scrim world champions.
Of North America.
I heard they were also stomping all the LCK teams.
I actually heard that too.
Scrim world champions.
Them and G2 would go neck and neck.
Exactly.
But they didn't look good on stage last week. Morgan got in about 50 hours before their stage game, and we'll see if that extra week of reduction of jet lag and hopefully just being able to have calm nerves on stage will prevail for Team Liquid Alienware.
Yeah, and I mean, that is going to be the big question. Obviously, it does feel a little bit silly to be like, well, it's week 2, time to put up or shut up. But that is the kickoff tournament. Like, that is the kickoff tournament. It's very, very fast. You're going to advance very quickly. You're going to get eliminated very quickly. So you have to perform right off the rip. And this is a team that they are expected to beat. But Shopify is a team that I think a lot of people were pretty excited about. Maybe mostly not in the conversation for title where people had TL. But it is still a team that at the end of the day had a relatively high finish, brought in Zinni, who has a lot of excitement around him. So people were saying, hey, this is a team that could be competing at the top of the table if things do go right.
For sure, because also the continuity is there. 2 coaches and 4 players. So 6 of the 7, not counting Zinni, who replaced Palafox, are coming back. And they were a 3rd place finishing team. So that should give you confidence. It's definitely raised their own internal expectations. When I talked to Fudge on Pros before the season started, he said that if they don't win, as in win the split, he was going to be disappointed. So they have set their bar very high. And to talk a little bit about the draft right now, we're seeing a number of counters into Rise. Previously, it had been Cassiopeia, but now we're seeing yet another Anivia into Rise, which is becoming one of the popular counter picks as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely strong, I think, against, lower range comps in general. It can be really difficult. It's very easy as you're walking forward on Rise to actually just get walled in, to get picked off as a result. It's tough to actually engage into and fight past the wall, as well as the kind of that ultimate that Anivia does have.
Yeah.
But, paired with that, it feels like a little bit disjointed because you have this kind of dive comp of the Vi Rumble.
Correct.
Pairing with the Anivia, who kind of generally wants to like kite back and peel back. So I'll be interested to see how they actually bring this together in the next couple picks, because on the other side, TL to me looks like you're playing 1-3-1 and everything wants to be more cohesive and going forward.
Not to mention Ambessa with R and Jarvan with EQ and R can just hop the wall. So currently they don't have things that will get completely destroyed by Anivia, but if they did engage and then the wall flies up for other people to fall through, then they would be in trouble. It will depend on what they're able to round out the rest of this team composition with.
And we'll see some support bands coming through. We already had Nautilus band out, and now we have Bard as the response on the other side. So targeting some of these really popular engage supports, but enchanters have gotten very popular these days as well. We're seeing a lot of Karma Ezreal, a lot of Nami Corki as popular pairings. Yunara still up, Corki still up, 2 of the most popular AD carries after Varus, which has been banned away.
These locked lanes from the role quests. If you leave your lane, your quest is too slow. So what do?
Don't leave lane.
Stay in the lane.
Play an enchanter, win the 2v2.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we're going to see, you and I were talking about this off camera, if we're going to see that more in top lane going forward. We're pretty sure this is just Ambessa versus Rumble top lane, which is at least a little spicier than Sion versus Cassante for 30 minutes, but it's not necessarily the super hyper-scaling top lane pick, since honestly, top lane has been an island for almost all of the LCS games that I've watched.
Yeah, it has. It absolutely has. Lucian being considered here. We could see potentially Lucian Braum or Lucian Nami. Whichever one gets taken away, you're maybe going to do a pairing with the other. B-Boy has been one of the best Lucians in our league. When I think back to last year, I feel like he did perform very, very well on it.
He was such a good Lucian. But you could also just Corki Nami right now, which is another good pair, and then denies it. And this will probably push them into Braum, because Braum is good against Nami and also good with Anivia. So we'll see what they end up locking for Seos.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, again, Braum, obviously really good duo, really good pairing, but maybe it doesn't work as well with some of the dive that they have actually grabbed.
I mean, everything works except Vi. If they lock in Braum, they'll be like, all right, everyone's good except Contract's good luck. Instead, they go Melio. Seos is a very good Melio from what I remember last year, and it will... I mean, there's not necessarily a big CC that they'll be cleansing. I mean,
Room Prison.
Room Prison's pretty much it to try and get you clear. Melio into stuff like Amumu as an Amumu enjoyer is just miserable.
Yeah.
But nothing like that here.
Yeah, I do think the Ultra Mega Fire Kick, I believe it's called, the Q, is still very nice into both Jarvan as well as Ambessa. To me, I think it's a lot about the disengage there. You know, that can be quite nice. This is one of the pairings I don't think of as much anymore. You know, Melio Lucian was popular for a brief period in time as one of those kind of premier duos. But their comp does feel like a little bit disjointed, so it'll be interesting to see how they do bring it together. You know, generally Vi wants a lot of dive paired with her to be able to go forward. So it'll be interesting to see how Zinni can actually work into this composition, if he can, you know, be able to follow up on some of these engages that they're going for, or if it is just going to be more, hey, everyone on this team is pretty squishy. You just hit someone with the vial, then you have the flash freeze, all these stuns and everything coming over the top, and you just try to like 100-0 burst someone down like that and wall everyone else out.
I think that would be how it has to work. Otherwise, it's just setting contracts up for a very hard game. And I think it's a difficult spot considering last week, if we think about how he played, his first game, he was on Malphite. He had a good start to the game, a bad end of the game, and Shopify Rebellion talked about on their podcast as well, Contracts was on the podcast, one of his big goals this year that the coaches have given him and he has for himself is to engage when the team is ready to follow up, rather than just finding a good engage. But I don't necessarily know if they're putting him in a situation to succeed here because, as you say, like a slow-moving Anivia Q as the follow-up to your Vi engage, it's not that much.
No, I mean, it can be tough. Like I said, I think the one thing that is kind of beneficial is that everyone on the TL side is relatively squishy. So, you know, maybe any target can work pretty well here. You know, and there's relatively short range overall. Kind of maybe the Corki is the exception there, but going to be interesting to see how this 2v2 goes because LYON and Core definitely known as 2v2 beasts.
Yeah, and B-Boy's going to have to play well. Actually, B-Boy, we have some sound of him hyping himself up before the game.
I did all my routine to win, so no one can stop B-Boy. My routine before stage, take a shower, and eat Sannondang in the morning, and sleep 12 hours. And I have a gaming shoot.
Demonte in the background reactions and Revan behind him as well. Revan miming the shaking of the heat warmers was kind of cracking me up in the background.
I have heard legends of B-Boy's sleep. Apparently on off days after LCS, sometimes he will sleep 12 to 16 hours.
Wow.
Which is
16
insane.
Is crazy. He has one CS, by the way. Just gotta, so maybe he didn't get his full 12 hours.
Either too much or too little. It's a
Let's
very
lock
dangerous
in here, brother.
sleep.
We need a second CS.
Bring in a third hand warmer.
His hands are not warm enough. we must get warmer. Get a microwave on stage or something. Going for some trades back and forth. Of course, there is a lot of minions here for them to pick up, so we'll see how well he does.
I mean,
farming
not that
under tower.
many. He's probably dropped
a lot.
He's at least dropped a wave already. That's 5 CS down.
Yeah, he has dropped quite a bit. So that is unfortunate.
That's some rough timing on that shot, by the way.
Yeah. He's got 8, but LYON and Core JJ, definitely a tough leaning duo. And I have to say, you know, thinking back to last week against Shopify, I do remember, you know, them having Shopify rather playing against FlyQuest. I remember them having some real struggles, especially in that second game. Mosu and Cryogen just lit them up with the Thresh of Felios. So Seos and B-Boy have not had a good time in the 2v2s whatsoever. As Morgan in some trouble here. Fudge overheating there, and Zinni gonna have his egg popped. Quid won't have the damage to be able to finish him off, so does get that passive out, which always, you know, leaves that possibility of a gank open. But Jose is down towards bot side, looking for a potential dive. Morgan getting zoned off on the top side as well. B-Boy gonna go forward, dashes over, flashes back, barrier is popped, gets the first blood, and he's still alive as nothing's able to happen on the top side for Shopify, but on the bot side, they get the outplay in the 2v3.
And we dared question his routine? Don't look at the CS, look at the kills. I'll need to see again how he managed to live through that with heal already being burned, just having the flash barrier. It's super interesting playing against Team Liquid as well because having Jose on vision allowed Fudge to play even more aggressively, knowing that if TL has an advantage bottom lane, even without seeing vision, you can often decide that their jungler is going to be there to try and dive, but this dive goes awry for Team Liquid. Still double CS in the bottom lane, but B-Boy actually up in gold.
Yeah, it looks like he flashed over the flag and drag, I think, in the play, so we can see it one more time.
So they see Jose clearly on ward right now, gives them a lot of time to anticipate what their next move is going to be. He's going to have dash, flash. Let's watch right here. Dashes, perfect flash on the flag and drag, so doesn't take the damage or get knocked up. Core takes a bit too much damage from the turret. And then also just the Melio shield coming in clutch enough that B-Boy doesn't die.
Yeah, has the shield. Great Ultra Mega Fire Kick there as well as the Flag and Dragon was coming forward. And that is a look of frustration as the dive goes awry. I mean, if you execute on that dive, the bot lane 2v2 is just completely over. B-Boy is out of it because he had no farm. He would have been so far down on where the Corki is, but he gets a kill. That completely bails him out. And we are into a pause. We'll update you as soon as we find any information out about that. But yeah, I mean, he's down more than 2 waves with more than a full wave still for LYON to farm. So he's down effectively 3 full waves at 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But he's basically even in gold. I mean, he got a double longsword buy, so he's chilling.
He actually is 1,600 to 1,500. Surprisingly, Fudge, I know it's Rumble who's strong early, but we heard so much about Morgan's laning phase. You almost expect them to walk in and just outclass people. That's just not how it works. We've seen a lot of the domestic players in North America really stand up to the imports. I know Fudge is technically from Australia, but he's been here for like 6 years at this point.
We claim him.
I claim him, yeah. We claim him for North America when he's doing well. So that's, crucial. But he's good start to the game in this one, and Morgan needs to have a bigger performance on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jose obviously spent his time doing that while Contracts was just kind of power farming. Got his base off. You touched on it earlier, but the fact that Jose shows bot means that Fudge could push Morgan in between the 2 towers, knowing he's not being ganked. So there are some knock-on effects there for sure. Still waiting on any sort of updates about this, and hopefully it'll be a quick pause.
Yeah, so if production isn't too busy figuring out what the pause is, I really liked the camera view that was a little more zoomed out where I could see the players' screens, because it felt like Fudge was just hitting tab over and over again, and I'm a little curious how long he can keep that up. So I really like that view, rather than just seeing the faces, seeing the actions that they're taking during this pause, because it actually looks at the moment, in the early stages of pause, you're not allowed to talk while they're doing their investigation. Oh, here's the view. He's still tabbing. He has to keep the APM up.
Yep. It's just, I mean, I'm sure you've seen FBI, right?
Yeah.
How FBI plays. FBI is the extreme version of this. I don't know if you've seen his first-person POV, but FBI presses, I think it's like Z as well, to bring up his chat over and over.
Yes.
So he does chat and tab. So you're watching a replay, and he's literally team fighting, and he's like bringing up chat and tab over and over and stuff. It's pretty wild, but it's just one of those things where you build that habit over a long time.
We're like 3 minutes in. He's staying warm. Is this his pause ritual?
I think it's just...
B-Boy's got the hand warmers.
You're
and
just used to it.
Fudge has the tab space, tab space, tab space, tab space, tab space, tab space.
Press tab, you know?
Must press buttons.
It's like if you're playing an MMO, you must be jumping at all times.
B-Boy has extra hand warmers if he needs them.
But does he have time for a 12-hour sleep? That's the real question.
Not currently.
No.
It's a good thing he slept for 12 hours, seeing as we had a 3-game first series, so it's already a little later than he thought he was going to be starting with DSG playing. DSG's looking good so far this year.
They are.
I'm really excited for them to be a stronger team. But sure, is it LYON? Is it LYON's fault that we're paused?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to do a visual investigation to see where the issue is.
Sometimes it's obvious because you can see where like the referee is right behind them and talking to them. He is hanging out behind LYON, but he could just be posted up. It looks like we are getting back into game, though. So thankfully, we'll get this back underway here. As you can see on screen, they no more tab from Fudge. Tab was just a pause thing.
It's fixed. Whatever was the issue is fixed. That's all that's important.
Yeah, Morgan going forward. Takes a decent trade there, but Scrap Shield helping Fudge to get the best of it.
Yeah, now B-Boy with a level advantage, actually, since the wave is in a good spot for them right now. Not to mention, they're pretty sure Jose would have had to go back to clear other camps. Are able to get it pushed out. So what was a great start to the lane by LYON and Core JJ is not actually manifesting in a current advantage. So I feel like Shopify kind of got away with one, even though they did outplay the dive.
Yep, absolutely. Going to be really happy about how things went after that start to the lane, which was pretty brutal. And it is a quick base for B-Boy, who was able to get a nice little trade. They crash the wave, he gets Caulfields, and he is just home guarding back out here as Zinni TP's back in towards mid lane. gets a trade onto Quid, but Quid is just heading back to base regardless, so not too concerned about the state of things. And as you can see, B-Boy not going to have missed many minions, really just the melees for that recall. So now it'll be interesting to see if Shopify can actually keep them stuck in lane here, now they have the buy advantage. I
mean, 20 CS at 5 minutes 30 is still crazy low on a Lucian lane. So LYON and CoreJJ trying to keep the pressure up as much as possible, but they can't, I don't think they could realistically threaten another dive because they haven't gotten any poke off. So for them, the only thing they'd be able to do is kind of move towards bot crab, which, by the way, we've heard from Cloud9, when this 6-minute crab spawns bot, you got to fight over it, because you're going to get level 6 most likely as the jungler, and then that can also give you Drake control. So Team Liquid in position for the big crab.
It should be there for sure, though. You can see that Rise was already cheating down. He had push in mid. They had push in bot. So
level 6.
Not much of a chance, really, for Contracts to be able to try to affect that. Jose, though, threatening here once again, is walking around behind him, but Contracts is going to be in the area, trying to get level 6 himself right now, and will be able to do so off of this blue buff. But Jose is in the area, does have the upgraded smite, so this is going to be almost impossible for Contracts to get the smite.
So rather than going for Drake, he's just trying to take complete control of the bot side, and there's no counterplay to this, actually, with the advantage in the fight and the stronger smite.
Yeah, Zinni now getting chased down. I don't know if he has his passive back yet. Quid threatening with the Realm Warp, flashing out there from Zinni. The Ghost, though, is just making the difference. He's just chasing him down. Flashes past the stun, knocks him down. Jose gets the kill, but let's be honest, that was a solo.
That's the big play, Quid, that you're hoping for when you sign a former LCS MVP in the offseason. He's been pushing the limits this entire laning phase. You kind of have to do it twice against the Anivia. You have so much mana in your first laning phase to get the egg out, then you have to do it again, taking trade after trade that is advantageous to eventually get that kill. Could have maybe even done it without the flash with Jose on the way, but still a great display there by Quid's Rise.
Yeah, Quid's got to be happy about that one. Had a much rougher week last week than expected against APA. You know, got solo killed in kind of an embarrassing way, you know, versus the person that he had replaced in that Orianna game where he kind of just walked into the Azir. A lot of people were talking about that misstep from him. But you know, Quid off to a really good start in this one, forces the passive out early, gets what is effectively a solo kill there, as it was guaranteed to be his kill.
And now Team Liquid using this mid-prio to take control of the river. Still waiting on that first Cloud Drake to fall, but at the moment, Team Liquid just trying to stack small advantages.
Yeah, and you can see Fudge just rush towards the early steel caps there. You know, obviously it is going to be double physical damage up on the top side. Both Morgan and Jose going to be dealing physical damage. And Rise, you know, is going to be a long ways away from really being a threat in that side lane. So going to be pretty happy about that. And Fudge has been able to continue this bullying that is happening up on the top side. More of these minions will get denied. He'll move down to help Contracts secure the grubs. And he's up a good 20 CS. Zinni's going to be in trouble. No flash. Going to get Cataclysm. The Rumble Equalizer does come down. Can Zinni survive? Flash forward from Contract. The ulti comes through. Quid able to finish him off, but the passive came back just in time. Quid goes down. B-Boy fighting on the bot side against LYON. Nice backstep on the bubble. That does come through, and now the culling is just chunking the TL bot lane down. Big plays from Shopify as they're trying to threaten the dive there even, but the barrier from LYON will keep him safe.
I mean, Anivia had egg for about 30 or 40 seconds, so it's pretty clear that the egg wasn't on cooldown when they went for this play. Makes me not love it that they all end that quickly when they didn't have instant fatal damage, especially with Shopify kind of clearly being on grub. So it looks like tunnel vision there. That is punished by Shopify, and it allows Shopify to take the lead in this game.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, it was quick moves from Contracts and Fudge to be able to move down. The equalizer dropped quick. And then Contracts flashes forward as B-Boy should be able to walk this one out. No more rockets available for LYON.
In terms of Contracts' goals, engage when the team is ready for it. 1 for 1. Everyone was ready for that. Very clear. Zinni needed the help. He's ready. So Contracts goes in.
Yeah. When you're getting ganked, it turns out you're usually ready for your jungler to be there.
I'm ready for the help.
And people like to communicate that. I find in solo queue as well.
Yeah. After the fact, being like, I could have used some help there.
Yeah. Sometimes
5 minutes
they say it
ago.
in different ways. Fudge overheating, takes the bad end of a trade there from Morgan, as Morgan level 9 now, getting stronger, does have the pickaxe. And, you know, when you do go for those early 2-2 boots, they can be very effective. But, of course, the flash going to be forced there as Public execution came through from Morgan. Might have had enough damage for Fudge, and he's not going to risk it. Also, not knowing where Jose is. Equalizer's going to get dropped, but Morgan's just walking into it. As that wasn't initially on him, but Morgan kind of stepped into it, and now it is a trade of flashes for ultis at the end of the day.
Fudge really not backing down in this lane against Morgan. He won the early trades, he had move on to Grubs, he got the kill from mid lane, and then immediately after having his flash burned, goes right back for Morgan. So keeping the pressure on in that top lane is now finally almost 11 minutes into the game with almost perma bot prio. Team Liquid decide to start their first Drake.
Yep, going to be able to start that one up. Morgan just TPs up towards top side. He did just complete his Eclipse, so going to be really strong at this moment in time. Fudge just also used his TP, so no one's going to join. It won't be contested. Quid had some nice trades there onto Zinni, and CoreJJ just kind of walked through mid, healed him twice, and that just made it a really health-positive trade. Jose back towards bot again. He's just been camping out down here. Hasn't been able to find too much effectiveness, though, let's be honest.
This has been the trend of TL junglers, I'd say, the last year and a half. Spend a lot of time around LYON and CoreJJ, and oftentimes they're able to play very well around it. When they're at their best with Umpty, they'd use the bot prio, and oftentimes Umpty would use that to invade the jungle. We saw a little bit of that this game when they went after the level 6 crab to take blue buff, but I feel like they've had a couple missteps that has made it less effective, and then Jose also spending all those resources mid have not allowed them to make the big advantage. He really is, for what it's worth, he still doesn't have any camps up, so this is not necessarily wasted time, but the Gromp is about to respawn, so now he's starting to lose efficiency.
Yep, absolutely. And I think at this point, he's just going to stay bot for Scuttle, and they're going to try to contest that again, you know, utilizing all of this pressure that they do have on this bot side. Jose has just been here for the last, I want to say at least a minute or so.
TikTok, yeah.
You know, just kind of sitting around as Contracts is moving down. LYON getting traded on pretty effectively. Seos and B-Voy getting aggressive, and in comes Contracts. The culling going to be used to chunk them down. They see Jose and will just accept that little win and back off. Zinni, though, is moving down to try to help Contracts secure this. So now at the end of the day, Jose spends all of this time down here, is not rewarded with a Scuttle, is not rewarded with any pressure, and will just have to head up towards topside to lick his wounds.
So went back and checked. He started Drake at 10:40. So he was at Drake or between Drake and bot lane for almost 2 minutes. That's a lot of attention bot lane.
It is, and in case you missed it, the Power Spike moment means that MasterCard holders can click the link pinned in chat for their chance to win $50 in RP. Morgan hits the Eclipse, and maybe you'll hit some free RP.
I do think it's one of the biggest power spikes, is the Eclipse Ambessa. It just completely changes the champion. It's already annoying because of how many dashes that she has, but once she has the Eclipse and she's just repeatedly shielding, I mean, you can even see this. Yes, Fudge hasn't hit his item power spike either, which would be the Leandri's, but he's had perma prio even though he was down in CS and is down in gold because he has that Eclipse.
Quid going to just be able to proc the phase rush and run right out of the Glacial Storm as Contracts will be spotted. Just insta flashes away from Jose. Was very nervous about the additional assistance coming in. You can see Morgan was roaming down from the top side, so that would have been very threatening. You know, if you get hit by the flag and drag, you're going to get rooted, and then maybe Morgan gets in range for an ulti, and you kind of just get 100-0'd. So Contract's just going to spend it. You can see some role quests now getting completed. Only one that has yet to be completed is Quid's. So pretty much everyone else is done on the map right now.
I mean, Zinni, despite kind of getting solo killed early, has kept his CS up because they were able to get the return kill with the grub assist from Contracts and Fudge. He's just in an incredibly comfortable spot. Roa completed, tier stacking, and is going to be a really strong Anivia as Quid tries to affect the game in the mid game on Rise. But so far, so good for this Anivia counter.
Oh, Morgan dashing backwards, not going to fall for it. Fudge was trying to get him to go a little bit aggressive as Contract was in that brush, but Morgan, very respectful stuff. Elects to play it safe, not knowing where the jungler is, and lucky for him, that means he gets to stay alive.
Yeah, because for once, the jungler was actually top lane, shockingly. It's amazing that he actually respected that, because I've been watching a lot of LCS, and I'm telling you, these junglers are not going top. I had our stats guy actually look up the kill participation of top laners early on in the season, and it's the lowest it's ever been. Like, the overall kill participation globally is about 52% for top laners, and last year it was 56. Way back in like 2013, 2014, it was like 65%, so it's kind of progressively gone down, but specifically this year, with the role quests and the early prio all these teams are putting on Drake, you really are just not involved in the game early on.
Yeah, no, absolutely true.
But what is this Giants belt, my man?
Is he going like Fimbulwinter or something with a tier? Is he going the tank tier item? That's the only thing that immediately comes to mind for me as B-Void trading heavily here with LYON. You know, maybe he is just going Fimbulwinter. I can't say I've seen this much. Obviously, you know, it is much more standard to just go towards Archangels as well as that Roa. But sometimes people do like to stack multiple tier items. So kind of interesting. You know, maybe he's going to go for that Fimbulwinter and then, you know, try to go double tier or something like that. Maybe he feels he needs to be a bit more tanky. Is Morgan going to go in with that public execution on Zinni? Zinni getting knocked down very low. Nice stun, though, does peel. B-Void, though, going aggressive. Culling comes out onto LYON. LYON's going to have to try to get out of there. Core taking a lot of damage there as Fudge arrives with the teleport. Equalizer's going to get dropped. Morgan gets walled off, but the Hex Drinker isn't going to help him stay alive. Just barely does not as Fudge is able to pull that off, but now Jose, if I can drag sidestep, can't sidestep the Cataclysm,
Easy kill, baby.
He's going to get the dunk, does get the kill onto Fudge, so they get one back.
Well, it looked like that play started in favor of Shopify, but Quid's actually been bottom lane this entire time, probably going to be picking up a couple of extra plates, so the gold is temporarily in favor of Team Liquid, but there's numbers in the mid lane that allow Shopify to get some plates.
Okay, so from production, apparently Quid just accidentally clicked Giant's Belt. So the only thing I could think of was he was going some weird Fimbulwinter thing, but apparently he had a big reaction, you know, when he did buy it, so... Yeah, I haven't seen the Fimbulwinter build. I don't know if he's just going to sell the Giant's Belt now, or if it is going to be a Fimbulwinter because he bought it, or what went on. But maybe we'll get some. Maybe we'll get an interview from him later or something and get to see it again. Super
interesting watching this trade top lane from Morgan and Zinni. Kind of the only way out is in for Morgan once he gets that wall, able to get a good chunk onto Zinni. But that's when fights just broke out all over. So the teleport comes in top lane to eventually kill Morgan. But at the same time, if that teleport would have been in the river, maybe the river fight ends up going a bit different. So still converting a kill onto Zinni with Morgan, pretty important there.
Yeah, nicely done. Morgan looking a little frustrated after that kill does go down. LYON and B-Void just contesting this mid lane constantly here. LYON still up a good 30 CS and is doing really well as far as the farm is concerned. Oh, you can see the reaction.
That's when he bought the Giant's Belt.
Okay, that looks like that was an oopsie. Slaps himself in the head. Hits himself with a literal facepalm. So is he going to sell it and just kind of take the L, or is he going to try to do something different and go Fimbulwinter? Or is he just going to have a random Giant's Belt in his inventory for a long time and just try to like ignore that he did that and, you know, go Lost Chapter next and kind of standard Archangels?
So for what it's worth, I was just pulling up some item win rates on Lawlytics as they're going for B-Boy.
Yeah, B-Boy will be able to dash back away from the Foss bomb. Stay safe.
A lot of action going on right now. I have a good win rate point about Fimbulwinter. It's
win rate
actually
is good?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so in 1,000 games, it's a 51.84% win rate as item 2, which is exactly the same win rate as the 280,000 games of Archangel staff. So obviously, it's conditional when you would build it, but it's not as bad as you would think.
Yeah, I mean, it seems fine. People used to do all the mana stacking with Ryze. Obviously, Ryze scales well with mana. People used to do like the Frozen Heart, like all the mana item build. So it doesn't seem egregious, but it does mean that the Archangel's shield, which is very, very valuable, would come super late in the game. Obviously, you are going to get Fimbulwinter shields when you root them. You don't get it from slows if you're ranged. You only get that if you're melee. But B-Void, big chunk there as the Foss Bomb lands. He has to flash away from the bubble from Core. As LYON and Core JJ just constantly trading, 33 CS up now for this Corki, but still a very slight gold lead for them in that bot side. It's really just Jose who's been able to open up a pretty nice lead. All things considered, though, the game is very, very even. It's really just the Dragons separating these two teams.
That's what I was just going to bring up, is how competitive Shopify has been in this early game, and it's going to come down to team and also team composition cohesion. So I still have concerns about how Contracts is going to contribute to this game later, especially if he's trying to ult this Fimbulwinter Ryze. What's the chances that he gets a kill? I actually do think he's going to finish Archangels, and then maybe he'd do a Fimbulwinter third with this Giant's Belt, or like a Rylai's or something. It's going to get interesting as he has to ad-lib his item build. But at this stage now, LYON and Core JJ still getting mid-prio. Looks like Ryze is still winning the side, and Bess is still winning side. So Shopify have to kind of make some funny plays happen, because they're going to have to stop this Drake stacking eventually.
And this is kind of like where, you know, you get into this weird situation with Anivia. Anivia is really good at holding ground, but not really good at taking ground and moving forward. You're very susceptible to getting ganked. So as soon as there's not a tower in your lane, you kind of have to just back off and accept when those minion waves do come to you. TL, though, going to use the Herald here. Jose threatening on the side, and this should be a tower going down. Going to be able to knock down that mid lane tier 1. Core and LYON just happy to take any trade with the Nami sustain. It's going to be beneficial for them as long as they don't get 100-0, but in comes Contracts, flashes for the culling there. Not enough to kill off Core JJ, and now Contracts in a world of trouble trying to survive is going to go down as Morgan arrives. In comes the equalizer as well. Seos in trouble, flashes over the wall. Fudge trying to get something happening here onto Morgan. Morgan to be able to dash back though as Quid is in the mix, trying to get the damage down onto Zinni. Zinni kiting back. LYON going to be stunned up. He's just firing rockets over the top. No one going down, but Contracts as Zinni is crushing them. Is going to be able to finish off LYON. LYON does fall. Quid still trying to make something happen on the side against B-Boy. Can't quite do it. Zinni in the extended play is able to get the kill and equalize the fight. It's just a 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
Actually really cool what we saw in that fight, because we saw how when Contracts engages, there's not really many ways to follow up. So he ended up dying, but then as Team Liquid tried to re-engage, you see a Nivea, Emilio, Lucian really turn on because they couldn't actually get onto them, and that's how Zinni got a kill on the back end. So temporarily, Contracts saw a numbers advantage. So he thinks maybe we one-shot Core JJ with the culling. But once that doesn't happen, he's able to get punished. Now on this re-engage, just watch, even though the Ambessa ult connects, very hard to get through that big Anivia ult in the middle of the lane. That goes down, low cooldown, pops it again, walls LYON off, and then lands the long-distance stun on him over. So this is 2 Qs that I think Zinni managed to land onto LYON in the course of this fight. Beautifully played Anivia to get that kill onto Corki.
Yeah, that was really well done. LYON had his flash, though. Definitely could have flashed that second one.
Yeah.
You know, maybe felt like, hey, I could survive this, or you know, it's not worth it or something, but does end up getting punished, does end up going down. Zinni now opening up a nice little gold lead for himself. He's working on this top tower. It will eventually go down to the Anivia. So Zinni going to be getting stronger and stronger. His Archangels is ready. His Roa is already at 8 stacks. And it is going to be Lost Chapter picked up here. So the Archangels comes through for Quid. Now we'll find out what he wants to do with that Giant's Belt.
Yeah.
If he is going to buy a second tier, or if he's just going to save that till later and then just kind of sell it off.
Kind of crazy. I mean, Quid was getting a lot of spell rotations off in that fight. I feel like he would have had Archangels done if he hadn't bit the Giant's Belt.
Yeah.
So, kind of a costly misclick.
It is. It really is. Jose, though, going a bit aggressive here onto Fudge, who will overheat. He's going to get thrown into the Cataclysm. Nice sidestep, and the flag drag back through, too. In comes the ulti onto Quid, though. They're going to try to turn it around. LYON trying to get in, but he's held out by Zinni. Zinni gets hit by a big chunk from that boss bomb, though. Morgan getting zoned out on the side. B-Boy now going to be hitting the flag and drag as he comes out of the Rune Prison. In comes the Realm Warp. Will they go for it? B-Boy's got no health at all. He's knocked down by Jose, and they want more, and they're going to get it. Seos falls as well. Zinni's still on the side fighting with Morgan, but Morgan's just going to flash in on top of him. In comes the Valk from LYON into the egg, and it's scrambled Anivia for dinner. They get another kill. They still see Contracts as well in the ward. Are they just going to go straight for a Baron here? I think that they should.
I think this is the game breaker right now, as long as they're able to secure this Baron. Remember, though, 18,000 health on the Baron, and it shreds. They can't kill it very quickly, but it is a 5 versus 2, and Core JJ is chasing the Vi away.
Yeah, Contracts just going to have to leave the scene. Will be spotted walking between the waves, so now they know it is completely uncontested. And now they're going to push out waves at the same time. Morgan goes top, LYON goes mid.
But at the same time, it possibly delays their soul. Since they're deciding to maximize their gold from the Baron and the turret, they lost the pole position on the Drake. So Empowered Recalls coming in from Ryze and Jarvan. No teleport, no Realm Warp, so no way of actually stopping this Infernal. If Shopify can withstand this Baron, it's potentially okay, since they're still at least 10 minutes away now from a potential Team Liquid soul. But let's watch this fight one more time.
Yeah, this fight started off here by Jose with a nice double flag drag.
And then Contracts tries to ult in as a way out of the Cataclysm. I'd say because Zinni got caught on the outside, they don't have that disengaging presence, and it allows Quid, Jose to kind of freely move throughout this fight.
The coach cam.
As Spawn is a little bit stressed on the way this fight goes.
Least stressed coach. Okay, now he's happy. Now he's happy, yeah.
I wonder if they did a time jump. Was that the start of the fight, or was that, oh my god, he built a Giant's Belt? He did it. Double tier Ryze.
He's got 21 stacks. Only needs 340 more, and then he's going to power spike.
It's the correct pivot.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Rylai's, and it's a Giant's Belt item that will eventually pay off and work with the Archangels.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just some tankiness. Seems totally fine. It'll give you a lot of extra shields when it does actually fully complete, but that's going to be, who knows? Maybe the game will be over before then. It takes a long time to stack those double tiers as Contracts look to try to smite that away. And Jose just poking on the side here with LYON. TL pushing in, but they're waiting for Quid in the bot lane, who's trying to get things moving.
Yeah, really important moment in the game right now, though. We've seen a lot of games globally slingshot back in gold if teams aren't careful enough with their first Baron and with their bounties. So just a bit of a recap on what some of the season changes were. Baron gives half as much gold on kill and is harder to take. So you don't get as big of an advantage from it. Not to mention, kill bounties are very big, and objective bounties also turn on at certain stages. So right here, you see like a 1,700 gold Baron power play so far. That would be like 3,000 in a past season based off just the Baron gold. And then look at Jose Diodo. If he dies, that's 1,000 gold given over to Shopify. And you can see that gold, that game getting very close if Team Liquid make actually one small mistake. So they feel like they're in control right now, but they gotta play clean.
Contract's the one making the mistake as he goes forward, tries to take down Jose. Jose getting locked into the tower, gets the shutdown. Contract survives thanks to the heal and the breath of life coming out from the Emilio. And now let's see, can Shopify get something more? They have the man advantage, but I think they're gonna be happy with that to just back off. And I underestimated that Emilio healing, just barely able to keep Contracts alive.
Yep, Contracts getting his shield from his passive and the Emilio healing. And it's exactly what we just talked about, though. Team Liquid get the Baron, they take 2 turrets with it, but because Jose, the biggest bounty holder on the team, dies, it's a plus 500 gold Baron, and they traded the Baron for an Infernal Drake. So that's actually, when you add everything up, a small advantage for Shopify.
Yeah, and I mean, it gets Contracts back in the game because he was down like 2.2k gold. He just picked up 1k, so was able to get a BF sword off of that, which is going to be feeling pretty nice about. Another lost chapter there grabbed by Quid as Shopify trying to be first in the area to control vision a couple minutes ahead of this next dragon here. As Quid's down towards that bot side, but knows he has no coverage. So has to be pretty careful, and I don't think he's going to push past this wave.
Yeah, Quid would normally have Actualizer right about now, but he's going to have to wait on that power spike. So if they end up losing this game, it's going to be a pretty tragic one, because I think with how close a lot of these fights have been, a little bit more Rise power would have actually pushed them over the top. But I think the name of the game here for Team Liquid is simplify. I think they've been trying to make a bunch of different plays, but they've had bot power almost the whole game. Quid's been able to get advantages on Zinni. If they were just playing around objectives, they'd potentially have Soul by now. They waited to take that first Drake until 11 minutes. They took Baron instead of the third Drake, and they've really just made, I think, this game has gone on longer and longer. If I think about the way Sentinels played yesterday, they were on top of that Drake cooldown every single time. They got 8 Drakes to 0 in that entire series. And now, a couple mistakes could cost them, but they're trying to push mid with this small window.
Yeah, Contracts is just going to go down. Jose's going forward here. B-Boy trying to get some damage done as a nice equalizer comes across. LYON just goes forward. Flashing to the side is B-Boy, but he's gone already. Fudge is going to fall as well. And just like that, I think it's the end of the game. Morgan goes forward, knocks down 1. It is going to be all 5 from Shopify going down as Morgan grabs a triple. TL grab a clean ace in the base, and they are going to wipe up game 1.
So as I was saying, Azale, name of the game is give gold to LYON, because he's really good. And as we see, because he had the lead, he flies into the base, eliminates Shopify, and just like that, it's over.
It ends the way it started. LYON and Core crushing it in that 2v2 to start things off and crushing it in the team. If I drag it back a little bit, we had a lot of 2-0s last week. We did just have a 3-game series, so maybe we can make it a 6-game day.
Well, this is our 9th game of the week. Last week we played 9 games. Interesting.
Can we one-up it?
I would hope so, guys. The weird thing is about our games is we've had a lot of really close games, but then a lot of series that end 2-0. So here we have Shopify actually choosing second pick and then also being put on red side. So this is let's call it a League Classic draft right here.
It is really interesting because initially everyone was saying, okay, first pick is going to be by far the best. Blue side is going to be by far the best. You know, and people were kind of really just defaulting to one team takes first pick, the other team takes blue side, and that's kind of like how it goes. But statistically, last pick has actually been doing better around the world. So teams are starting to change now where they're prioritizing taking last pick, which gives you the counter picks, you know, more ability to do that instead of going first pick. So it is interesting. You know, generally last pick is more powerful in a meta where there's not a ton of OPs that you just have to like permaban.
For sure.
So maybe people are feeling like that is partially why.
The tricky thing here though is most of the time, if you're picking last pick, the other team will pick blue side. Maybe it's just the blue side. I've heard from some coaches as well that you can contest Drake a bit better from red side.
Yep.
But
blue side
has better. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of pros and cons from this. I saw an LEC game where one team picked last pick, then the other team picked red side. So I've seen every combination. There's clearly no consensus on what's better. Ooh. It's something that we're going to have to track as the year goes on.
So the Wukong got taken away as kind of like a denial with the Orianna, but instead now we're going to have the Knockwave combo. We'll see how Jose and Quid can pilot this. It's becoming quite popular. If you time the Shockwave properly with the Nocturne ultimate, it is essentially unavoidable. You can't even flash it.
Yeah.
So, you have to have that timing perfect. If you do not, it just falls on its face. It looks really, really silly because the ball doesn't leash during the Nocturne ulti as he's traveling. So it's really just all about getting that timing right. We are going to have Fudge going with the Gnar as Morgan goes for his signature pick. First time we've seen him play at an NA with the Renekton.
Yeah, Gnar is a bit of an old school counter pick, but definitely not an easy lane to outplay. So definitely have players who are comfortable on both sides of it. And the Nocturne Orianna is almost like specifically into Azir as well, because it's just such a good way of threatening him in side lanes. Not to mention, as we saw Inspired do, at least 3 times in his game, you can time your spell shield for the Azir ult and just really be sticky towards the Azir once you ult on. So it's a pretty dangerous combo.
It's always really interesting to me too, because Nocturne, when it's in a game, really changes the dynamic of how top laners want to play. When I think of Gnar, I think of Gnar, not just like slamming the Renekton generally, but getting an advantage and being able to get push insides and sometimes threaten towers and things like that. But that is very hard to do with Nocturne on the map. If you're pushing to try to threaten tier 2s and to try to farm plates, you are really exposed. Once Renekton has Stridebreaker, dash in, slow, stun, Nocturne shows up, you're probably cooked. So it can get a lot more difficult to play those side lanes, and that's something that Fudge is going to have to be really aware of.
Yeah, you kind of also have to just save your hop in so many situations. I doubt that Jose is going to want to ult up there early, but definitely in the mid game. Plus, we'll see if Jose is still a slave to Yon and Core JJ, as he was borderline tethered to bottom lane for the majority of that last game. You can't say it wasn't the right decision, though, with how fed Yon ended up getting.
I mean, even last year with TL, when they were super struggling, everyone's like, yeah, but Yon, though. Yon is still playing really well, right? And TL, very clearly, we're going to rebuild the roster. It was going to be around Yon. And so, Jose spending some time down there, but I think rightfully so. A lot of support bans coming through from Shopify, as Nico as well as Lulu are going to be taken away here. Ezreal going to be banned. I wouldn't have been surprised to see Xayah get banned away, because Ezreal, Xayah, to me, are like two of the hardest to dive on. And so now I think we're just going to get Xayah Rakan, which I feel like TL maybe dropped the ball a little bit banning the Nautilus instead, because the Knockwave combo is way less effective against Xayah. It's actually one of the only AD carries in the game that can effectively dodge it.
I agree, actually. The Ezreal makes sense because B-Boy's Ezreal is insanely good, but I think they're getting pretty low value out of that Nautilus ban, especially with Rakan, Leona, all these other engaged supports available that will also then pair really well with Xayah.
And I mean, I don't expect Yon to want to take away the Xayah. Generally, people like playing it with Rakan. I mean, in theory, you could pick it away. Yunara makes a lot of sense. They could go an Enchanter style and really just try to slam lane, because Rakan is not a strong early laner. So maybe that is their thought process, is they'll go Xayah, but this 2v2 is really good, so who cares?
Yep.
And we'll see if that does work out. But my concern is always just when you give a really safe AD carry like Xayah, that is removed as a big target for the Knockwave, and eventually Azir will have Zonius.
Yes.
And then who do you ult? Who is your target, right? And that is kind of the problem here I always have with leaving up Xayah against this kind of comp. And maybe it'll be egg on my face and they don't even pick Xayah. Maybe it doesn't even matter. But that is kind of what my expectation was. Yeah,
I mean, he could pick Caitlyn if he really wanted to have a stronger lane, but come on.
With Rakan, it just doesn't feel
Come on, pick the Xayah.
Yeah, I feel like you just have to when you're going up against this Nocturne Orianna. There's so much dive, there's so much power. Maybe with the Bard coming in, you could do some kind of shenanigans, throw the Bard ult first and you try to force out the ults in certain ways.
But still, it's going to be a bottom lane that Team Liquid is trying to play aggressively around. Yunara, Bard are going to try and get a lot of push. Maybe instead of just trying to dive over and over again, they will then use the Bard to take over the rest of the map, as Bard does. But it's not a big surprise that Team Liquid is picked for the lane rather than necessarily the perfect late game team composition here.
Yep, and I mean, I think they have some really good scaling. Obviously, Ori scales really well. I think Bard and Yunara both scale really, really well. But Renekton and the Nocturne, it's a lot harder to get value in a team fight later on than it is for the Gnar as well as the Wukong. Rakan scales incredibly well as a team fight. Like, they have 2 really good carries, lots of great engage over on the Shopify side. I do favor their 5v5 later on for sure. Once you have those luxury items come through, we have seen it. It can be very difficult to get value out of that knock wave. You know, Inspired, some people were really hot on his build. Some people thought it was absolute trash, but he was kind of going for just this full CDR build, more tanky style. And he was basically saying, really the only damage that matters is the Orianna. So I'm just going to have a lot of CDR. I'm going to have the Abyssal Mass to amp your damage, but that means you're doing a lot less later too. Yeah,
on the Inspired build, I was talking to some people about that as well. The consensus I got was, so what Inspired did is he built Experimental Hexplate, which is all the Nocturnes do for the
then Abyssal,
cooldown. Then Abyssal, and then Kaenic. A lot of people wanted them to stop at the Abyssal, right? And then Stride Breaker afterwards to still have threat, because the Abyssal's not only going to give you some tankiness, it's also going to amp the Orianna's damage, and I believe they were double AP. They
had a lot of magic damage.
They had extra magic damage within the team comp.
They had a Nami bot as well, which is going to give more magic damage.
So that's, I agree with that take, that I liked the Mask and not the Kaenic.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they are going to be able to make it work. Both these teams, you know, in kind of interesting ways, had some like similar games, I feel like, when you're looking at last week and how the things went. These were their gold drafts, all kind of like overlaid, you know, where there were some throws or some things that didn't kind of go to exploitation.
For sure, but these are multiple games where they were actually winning past 25 minutes and then lost the game. So neither of these teams are going to walk away feeling super happy, but they're also not going to walk away feeling hopeless, because you can always say, well, we were in a position to win and then. So it's a better mindset to go into the off week with. But speaking of that, like this last game, Shopify was kind of in it until they weren't. So they're the ones that have had that happen multiple times now, and Team Liquid trying to pull themselves back. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, they were very competitive, and I mean, this is them going up against pretty much what the aggregate #1 was, right? This was, we combined everyone's power rankings. The average power ranking for TL was 1.42.
Which was first overall.
First overall, and then the average power ranking for Shopify was 3.43, which was that third or fourth overall? I can't actually remember.
I think it's third.
Yeah.
Still top half.
Yep. But either way, you know, obviously had them both power ranked pretty highly. I think the Shopify ones were kind of like more controversial. Some people had them very high, like Kangas had them up as far as 1. You had them, what, 6th or 7th? I think you had them lowest. So people were kind of differing opinions. I know your take is kind of overall their win percentage was very low last year, and they're bringing in like a rookie. Like, is that really going to fix it? And then the glass half full was, hey, they finished pretty highly in summer, and they added a mid laner who's supposed to be really, really good. So surely that fixes everything.
So it's going to be really interesting in a sadistic sense if Shopify loses here and then they play Dignitas in the 002 match for elimination. Because so much was made about Shopify last year and how Palafox was the big weak point, and replacing him with Zinni is going to fix things. But, like, actually, though, they're just both worse? Like, is that... Because neither one of them have won a game now that they've been pulled apart.
It's not a win-win, it's a lose-lose.
Exactly. Like, was Palafox actually the perfect mid laner for Shopify, but just the net was there just slightly below 50% win rate?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was their peak. That was as high as they could go. TL going to be looking for a bot gank here. Seo's going to be in some trouble. Will he flash? He does flash, but the Fear Tether does still connect. You asked, is Jose going to be tied to bot? The answer is yes. Even on the Nocturne, he ganks here at level 4, does force a flash, will have his recall delayed, which is pretty annoying, but at least B-Boy keeps his sums. It is basically the ghost of LYON for the double sums here of Seos, as well as some time from Jose.
Yep, Cordaje with a nice little roam tunnel. I like that gank look. I don't think he's losing hardly any time. I mean, I'm looking at the respawn of his Gromp, and it looks like he's going to get there pretty much on respawn. No counter jungling possible, so... I think it's going to become a meme if this happens every single game, though. Like, every single time there's a crab that Jose is down there ganking.
You know, it's funny because people talk about it with LYON, which is rightfully so, but I feel like all of the iterations of TL that did really well, this was kind of how they played. Like, think about when they were winning the 4 straight titles. It was go bot for double lift, right? And it was always like, there was always this discussion about like, we're really trying to evolve past that. We want to play all these different play styles. And then playoffs would come, guess what they were doing? They were drafting, scaling, and going bot for double lift.
It's just not worth it to be diverse, you know? It's just do your thing and just do it really well. But that's funny. It was the double lift Ole originally, then double lift Core the next year. That's how long Cordaje has actually been on Team Liquid, since that 2018 year. But it has been the best version of Team Liquid time and time again.
And I mean, the reality is, AD carries, at the end of the game, team fights are very heavily based on how good your AD carry is, right?
Yeah.
And Doublelift was, the best AD carry we've ever had in NA. LYON is absolutely stellar, so it makes sense. When you have players that are worth playing to, you're going to play towards them, right? You're going to try to focus on those styles. And obviously, you would love to be able to play every style, focus on every lane, play every champion, but it's usually just not realistic.
But we also don't even know what the best style is this year with, I mean, the current patch with the AD carry question, the way cashback is balanced, maybe it actually is just get your carry to 5 or 6 items as fast as possible and win. But a lot of happening here in the mid lane. And also the top lane is Morgan has got the best of Fudge, and no one cares other than those two currently.
Yeah, I mean, Fudge forced back to base. He's down almost 20 CS, lost a plate, and Morgan's even going to be proxying here because you see Seos, I think he kind of knows that Wukong's going to be on the other side. Shockwave does land on a Zinni, but Seos should be able to keep him safe. We'll see if they want to try to go for any sort of a flash play. His core is still in the area, but I think it will dissipate. But with that proxy play here from Morgan, he's going to be able to recall, run right back. He doesn't even have to TP if he doesn't want to, and he's going to hold on to it.
And this is also bot crab disaster. If the game is decided on bot crab, I'm pretty sure this is going to Team Liquid because they have T advantage from the Renekton if they need it. They have mid push if they need it as well. But Contracts is still here looking to contest. LYON is hitting minions though. Contracts might get 6 off this.
Yeah, we'll see if he's going to be able to get it. Jose looking like he wants to back off. I mean, 3-6 Nocturne, it can be pretty dicey, so they're just going to give this away. LYON going to be pushing in that bot wave, should know that they're in the area and will be backing off here pretty shortly. But, to touch on this top lane advantage, it is really interesting because, Morgan, career long, is a 40% win rate player, 40.8% win rate.
Yeah.
But Renekton
very
is
Shopify-esque.
Renekton is his it's true, maybe he should have been on Shopify.
You never know.
But Renekton is his most played champion, and he has a nearly, it's 58.6% win rate, like almost 100 games.
Damn.
It is his best champion by a lot throughout his career in pro play. And this is the first time he's gotten it in the LCS. He always got a lot of respect for how well he was able to pilot this champ, so it's going to be exciting to see how he does. You don't expect to see this massive CS advantage opening up when you are the one blinding and your opponent had counterpick.
Absolutely. Another bad joke. It's when he's on Renekton, it's like if Shopify is in a game that matters. So that's the level of improvement you see from just normal
it's
Morgan.
Shopify in the finals, and when he's off Renekton, it's Shopify versus Dignitas.
There we go.
There you go.
It's just the way it works at the moment. Back to the game. I'd say B-Boy Seos actually laning pretty well despite all the attention. Interesting that the Crab ended up not really doing much. This is no C9 game where they're just going to totally flip the game over going for that level 6 Crab. But Jose Quid now have the knock wave combo, but no one other than Seos has burned Flash, so not a great target to really go for right now.
Yeah, but it is very hard to actually flash that. The timing is like almost impossible. If they do it perfectly, to me that's one of those plays where it's like you talk about misplay versus outplay. It's way more on the side of it has to be a misplay rather than an outplay. So sometimes when they press Shockwave, you can like dash flash and then the Shockwave kind of like expires, so to speak, before it gets to you. So there are sometimes there's timing, but it's very hard to actually flash it. And we have seen games even this split in the LCS where people try to flash it and it still connects and they just kind of like flash it onto their team. So it's really a tough one to disjoint. So I feel like it's very much on Jose and Quid and how well they're timing it and how well they're coordinating.
And I'd say Jose has pleasantly surprised a lot of TL fans. I know he's only played 3 games and they've only won 1 of the actual games, but he's looked good and he's had good synergy with the team. Interesting here though that looks like Contracts is going to be able to get this Drake as Jose is instead just getting some grubs. So going to be a little bit of gold and maybe some extra plate acceleration, but in terms of the actual win condition of Soul, would greatly delay it for Team Liquid.
It would, but I'm going to be interested to see, will they go top with Nocturne ult, right? Because then it feels more worth it. Like, if Fudge Meganar is out and then it expires, and then you go top with Nocturne ult and Renekton ult, but he's recalling, so never mind. I was going to say, sometimes, people really want to just try to prioritize snowballing the lane. And then, hey, we're going to give up a dragon or 2, no problem. We're going to focus on gold, take away some camps, get some kills, and then show up to that third one with a big gold advantage where we fight. And it is a 700 gold advantage already in pure isolation for Morgan in this 1v1, who is just doing great. Fudge does go for the standard tier 2 boots rush. Gnar obviously needs a lot of move speed, but again, similar to the Rumble game, means that his first item spike is going to be quite delayed. So when Morgan hits that, he's going to be in a great spot.
I mean, almost 25 CS here, 700 gold. I wouldn't mind it if there's a window to gank, but with how much he's kind of pushing Fudge in this lane, I also think Fudge is going to be in a very defensive mindset. So the even a Nocturne gank might be unlikely to work. And yeah, speaking of having Yunar and Core on your team, Jose pathing back down, so unlikely we see that. But Contracts might be going for a play up top, actually.
Yeah, Core is here in mid lane. Zinni could be in a little bit of trouble. Gonna look for the shift. He's just dead. He shifts out, but it is way too late. Nicely done. They don't even need to use the shockwave.
Wow.
Quid just able to finish him off there with the dissonance.
I feel like Zinni was big time tunnel vision there, because Core didn't do anything super sneaky. He
just
walked and autoed him.
Yeah.
And then it allows an easy kill from Jose. It was just ball W, basically, that ends up getting the kill. So that kind of blows this early game open a bit, because not only has top lane been winning hard, that gives Quid quite the advantage on Zinni.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, Quid is going to get a very fast Ludens as a result. It's actually already complete, right?
Woo.
So now you really have no fun in these kind of lanes where it's like they barely hit you with anything, but the Ludens proc, make some of these trades very, very difficult for Zinni. So he's going to have to be really careful. This kind of new age Orianna build, I do really like that people are going way back into burst. As Morgan takes a nice trade here. For a while, we've been seeing these really defensive builds, like Ro was getting really popular again, and now we're back into Ludens, Shadow Flame, Death Cap, like more offense. And I think it's, especially with this combo, the correct decision. Like, you need to kill someone with your Knockwave combo, or generally you just don't win team fights, but Contract's heading bot.
Thinking about a dive, but I don't know if they can get the wave in on Yarn Core JJ right now. Not to mention, heal is going to be up in about 5 seconds. There's both flashes. Core spots him.
Yeah, Core spots him, and does have the ult defensively on the Bard if he wants to use it, but they, at the very least, they're going to push him off. So they're going to deny a wave, they're going to take a plate, Jose up towards top side, Fudge will flash to break the tether, but Contract's being very annoying. And it's kind of just a trade of top getting star for bot getting star. But I think Shopify are pretty happy with that, considering how much focus is generally given to Yon.
Yeah.
And if B-Boy's in a great spot, he's going to be tough to kill again this game. On the Xayah, Quid flashing forward, going to be a trade of flashes. Core looking for the Tempered Fate, does connect.
I think they got him.
Anytime the binding, he can. Of course he can. It's another easy kill here for Quid, but Yon on the bot side, maybe going to get taken down. B-Boy does commit the flash and the Featherstorm, gets the kill, completes the role quest. Yon has lost like 3 waves here, but now Quid is coming in from behind. Still has the Shockwave available. Can he get there for B-Boy? Connects on the Shockwave, but on the other side, Quid's in a lot of trouble here from Contracts. Will survive though, because Contracts had already used the Cyclone earlier.
This is crazy.
Yeah, the heal survives, and Fudge dies on the other side of the map as Morgan and Jose are able to knock him down with the ulties. This is just a scrappy game across the map.
What ends up happening is both Team Liquid's solo lanes open up big leads, but Yon is now far behind. So B-Boy dying at the end really hurts the overall trade for Shopify, because his experience isn't going to be there. But if someone's going to carry this game for Shopify, it would be the Xayah, because she's the one that can immune that Knockwave combo later on in the game. And Yon is just LOLing them in all chat, because they set the farm for him. Meanwhile, they lose a turret top, 2 plates, the Gnar, the Xayah, and plates mid. So, like, net, it's a big advantage for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and this is just going to be really problematic dealing with Quid. Quid is so fed right now, and he is even grabbing the Sork boots, so going to have a lot of spell pen. It is all burst. Lucidity is so popular these days for that move speed on those tier 3 upgraded boots, but at this point, I mean, he already has 6 stacks on the Darksteel, already has the tier 2 boots. He's got a lot of AP behind him, and he is going to be a menace.
Yeah, I mean, he's no role quest yet, and he's swapped to mid, but I feel like he's so close to the role quest, it's probably not going to matter. Sometimes you can get in these awkward situations where your mid laner gets role quest, wants to leave, but it's going to delay your role quest. But he's definitely scaling now. If he's playing correctly and not egoing too hard about needing to be ahead of the other AD carry, he knows his solo laners are in a great spot right now, so he just needs to be late game insurance for the solo laners who are likely to carry the game.
Yeah, Core could be in some trouble here. Tries to go for the defensive ulti. He gets scooped over the wall. Zinni just saved him. Whoa! And the shockwave across everybody. There's the knockwave. Yon, Jose, and Quid delete him as Zinni is playing for the wrong team. He scooped Core across the wall, saved him, and his whole team dies.
There ain't no way. That is just insult to injury right there. Core JJ, the most dead a Bard should be, and it felt like as he got scooped, everyone else got ulted. Like, how insane was that timing into a 4-man shockwave from Quid, who has the most damage on the team just an insane sequence. And now Morgan's trying to dive B-Boy.
Yeah, Morgan has to flash out, but in case you missed it, the Power Spike moment means that MasterCard card holders can click on the link pinned in chat for their chance to win $50 in RP. So thanks, Jose. Try to go get that now. The Soul Lane's so far ahead for TL. I want to see that replay because Core was just trying to self-ult to delay. He was trying to keep himself alive.
Yeah, even if it's a late replay, like we need to show this play, we need to see that play again. Fudge, he's toast. He's dead too.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for Fudge there, and that is going to be an ISO death here. And our stats guy was digging up some interesting stats.
I've heard about this.
To stay the least here. What do you think?
Not a good look for either player. So the good news is Baus is on a 4-game win streak. After starting with 4 straight losses. So does this mean Fudge is going to lose 4 games in a row and then win 4 games in a row?
Let's find out.
If they are actually the same player.
The real question is not how many ISO deaths it is. It's how many good deaths you have, you know? How good are those ISO deaths?
How much damage per death are you able to pull off as well?
Yeah, and unfortunately this one, Fudge is not getting a lot. It is nearly a 6,000 gold lead at 15 minutes, which quick math is not looking good.
So this will be an interesting game if we see a comeback. Because I do think,
big if.
Finally the replay. Okay.
He's trying to self-ult. Gets scooped out.
That's crazy. He's just like walking away. But then look at the shockwave, man.
Oh, boy.
How does it, that's one of the biggest, like, from edge to edge, he hit everybody.
That is a 4-man
That is everyone's reaction.
Core tries to self-ult just to delay, gets scooped over the wall, lives, the whole team dies, and he's like, okay, that's why we got Quid.
Coaching, baby, yes. Yeah. Told me to do that.
Ooh, he's a Mage Eyes. Quid is feeling it this game, as that is going to be a forced ult out from B-Boy.
Okay.
Shadow Flame's almost done. He's got 14 stacked Mage Eyes, a Luden's tier 3 boots, and a 3,000 individual gold lead at 16 minutes. What do you think?
I think he's fed. But, as we were saying, I do feel like our feel for what a throw used to be is no longer what a throw is. And it's because the magnitude of your mistake is multiplied more in this season than in past seasons. So objective bounties are even on right now. Quid is worth 1,000 gold. Jose is worth like 700, close to 800 gold if you count assist gold. So if somehow they just like, those two try and make a hero play, doesn't work, they both die, and objective bounty's taken, we'd be in like a 2,000 gold game.
B-Boy has no ult, so we'll see if they are going to send it here. They do have that Orianna Shockwave up and available, as well as the Nocturne ulti. Shopify rallying the troops to try to defend. But I do agree, yeah, we have seen a lot of throws. There's so much gold in the game. And players are worth a lot less gold very quickly when you die multiple times in a row.
Yeah.
Bounties are worth so much, objective bounties. There can be massive swings, but this would have to be a truly huge swing, as it is just about 8,000. Now it did crest 8,000 briefly before going back under it. They're losing control of their jungle. They're losing every lane on the map, it feels like, at this point. And TL gonna get engaged on. Quid immediately flashes back. Here comes the Nocturne ult. Are they gonna send it? Shockwave is up and available. They're gonna land it onto Contracts. Contracts trying to run away, but Jose is flashing there to follow. The Tempered Fate does not connect. Beyond dueling here with B-Boy on the side. We'll just back it up, and they'll take the 1 kill onto Contracts.
And there's nothing else to do because Baron's not up yet. We're only 18 minutes into the game, so nice little sequence there by Team Liquid. Very close to being more if that Bard ultimate was just a hair deeper to be able to catch Rakan and Gnar, but still, they're able to kill Contracts once again, keep him down, keep him from farming his own jungle, and now they can just all reset and catch these waves and jungle camps.
18 stacks on the Mage Eyes. We're getting closer.
It's a soul war, and he's going to win it.
It's going up and up. LYON now on 2 completed items. B-Boy very soon will have his second, as he's working towards those quick blades likely. But, I mean, Zinni is just so far behind that it's really hard to imagine Zinni being able to have a good fight. And when he's that far behind, you just kind of know everything is going to be thrown at B-Boy. And even if he survives, like, there's not really a lot of threat besides him on the team. So it's just so hard, right? When there's only one person who's strong, you just gotta throw everything at them. They have to run the whole fight, and it's hard to get much damage out.
I mean, just look at the, not only is it a big gold lead, but it's a big inventory lead. It's like 2.5 items on everyone.
It's gonna be good, though. Morgan in some trouble up on the top side as B-Boy just runs up there with Fudge. They're gonna try to look to chase him down. The Featherstorm's actually gonna get committed, even though B-Boy was full health and Morgan wasn't even popping the ult. But they do get the kill. It goes to Fudge.
It's a nice shutdown. Should help Fudge in the side there. I'd say pretty smart there by B-Boy to just shadow Fudge. Oftentimes you're thinking that it's only a jungler or even a mid laner that's going to be up there, but there's no realistic way that Shopify would ever take a fight anywhere else on the map. So they catch Morgan just being a little bit cheeky with an over-aggressive trade. At least they're going to stop him from getting a plate after taking this Drake as Quid teleports up to catch the wave.
Yep, Quid will be able to defend this no problem. And yeah, I mean, for Shopify, they know it. They're massively behind. It's time to get creative, right? You just have to look for trailing plays, try to punish people in the side lanes, you know, look for these kind of more risky moves because those are the only things that are really going to have a chance of working for you.
Yep. Wait for the 20-minute mark and set up around Bear. So Core JJ is already on the way. He's going to try and get some deep vision. I think ideally you find a pick because they have a lot of engage.
Yeah.
And there's no flash on Gnar, no flash on Wukong. So I believe that is where Team Liquid is. They're just going to try and keep mid-top pushed as much as possible, but it's going to be kind of tricky to get all the vision cleared here in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm TL, I just feel like you never want to start the Baron. You only want to try to use it as a bait to get picked, because legit the only way I could see them losing this game is if they start Baron, it gets stolen, and then they all get wiped, you know? It's like, that's pretty much it. So if you just keep deleting waves, you know, pushing it in, controlling vision, force them to come into, and then just try to take a fight, you know, that really, I think, is going to be the recipe for success. Quid going to be able to spot Zinni. Already saw contracts in the area as well as Core, again, just moving forward. Morgan is there, the entire TL squad now in the area, so confident to move forward as Jose is here. Nice little engage coming through. Can they find the combo? Tempered Fate defensively onto Core. Good scoop back from Zinni, trying to flash away, but Morgan flashes in on top of him, and Quid goes godlike. Fudge is on the run. Seos is already gone. B-Boy can't even get involved. Contracts is still alive, but he's kind of in the wrong spot, and he's going to get spotted now. Contracts has no chances. Look at that shockwave. Just deletes him, and the Baron is going to go down next. B-Boy, get in there, buddy.
25 stacks.
Yeah, we're hoping,
he made it.
We're hoping for a Feather Storm steal or something at this point. I mean,
give it up.
It's looking cooked.
Give it up. White, raise the flag. You're not. He's going to try.
You got
like
to.
A Q.
You're down 1,000,000 gold. Just pray.
It's a 1,400 damage smite. There's no way anyone's stealing it nowadays.
The only hope is you got to make them panic, right?
True. Smite at 1,401.
Exactly. Exactly. You're praying for a miracle at this point.
Storm Surge now for the 25 stack Quid. Let's see how much AP he has with Baron. No elixir, 500 AP. I mean,
not bad.
Still got another item slot. If this game continues, 22 minutes in, he's already at 4 full items and upgraded boots.
I mean, he has a lot of flat pen here as well, which is going to make things kind of nasty. He's got 48 flat pen. So let's see, how much MR does B-Boy have? B-Boy's got 44. So he's doing true damage to Xayah.
Well, the Azir's probably pretty similar. Yeah, 44.
So true damage.
True damage? So we can just read the tooltip and that's how much damage it does?
Yeah, yeah.
876 damage alt, 631 on the W. So even if he doesn't Q, that's like
15, 1,600 damage from RW.
Yeah. B-Boy has 1,900 health.
Yep, and then guess what? Nocturne ult does damage too. So,
uh-oh.
So it's problem. We'll see.
Oh, wait, he's gone. We missed it.
We didn't miss it. That just happened. Zinni is just deleted. That is a true damage. Orianna knocks him down in a hurry. TL marching on the base. There's no reacting to that.
Is this the Scrim TL that was promised? Is this why we had them #1 in the power rankings? Look at this. I think
so. I mean, this is looking tough. Welcome to the LCS Zinni. As he's 0-5-0, Contract's gonna look for the engage, but Quid, even the basic ability, deals so much damage. Morgan is zoning him out on the other side. Quid survives, and B-Boy cannot say the same. TL looking to finish this one off in a hurry. It's 23 minutes in, and they are just hitting the Nexus. TL gonna be able to close out the series. Fudge chasing after Core JJ, trying to get something, scoops him back. Seos goes in, they get a shutdown. Zinni is back, and they hold the line. Fudge falls down here to LYON. Seos trying to run away. Zinni gonna erect the tower, see if he can hold on for a little bit longer. You can see Morgan's going back to base. They may have just barely survived.
He wants to base TP because he's low on health and they want to end, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're just going to continue pushing forward. Here comes the teleport. Seos has got to make his move right now. Zinni's just going to get ran down. Can't connect onto LYON as LYON goes on a killing spree. Contracts is back up. So is B-Boy. Eyes on the Nexus, though. TL trying to get one more kill. They do pick it up. They knock down the Nexus. They sweep Shopify. And what a monster game from Quid.
Quid performed at an MVP level, but I also think we had perfect timing for the Quid feature, because we talked about the first game that Quid played on stage against JoJo, where he had an absolutely abysmal performance. There were a bunch of 100 Thieves fans saying he was a bust, saying they shouldn't brought him in, and then he turned into an MVP in what we saw this game. That's the video you need to send to Zinni right now, because he just had that exact experience that Quid had against Quid. 0-6-0 on this Azir. An abysmal performance here in Game 2 by Zinni and Shopify. But it can get better, as Quid's proven, as Team Liquid dominates.